I want to start with you and your Pistons teammates. You're the only players to have a winning playoff record against not only Jordan, but Larry Bird in Magic. Bill, educate us. How were you able to contain MJ specifically?
Well, at that point in his career, he was a one-man band. So all you had to do was just run three guys at him, and every time he tried to attack the basket, knock him on his butt, and make him go to the free throw line and wear him down. He at that time, he wasn't able to involve his teammates to the level he had to in order to win championships, and that was to our advantage.
Bill, when you looked at the Chicago Bulls with Jordan, we all knew how great Jordan was and was on the verge of becoming at that particular moment in time. But when you looked at Scottie Pippen, did you believe it was an issue of talent or just purely toughness or lack thereof when it came to going against you guys?
Well, I think anybody who's going to win a championship has to go through the school of hard knocks. Very rarely do you just burst on the scene and win. So Chicago had to learn, just like we did as the Pistons, had to learn from Boston and the Lakers. They had to learn from us. They had to find a way to get past us. And as we got older, it became easier for them. But I think the key was Michael Jordan involving his teammates and trusting his teammates after they got past us, and that took them on a long run.
Bill, you were known as a tough guy, let's put it that way, but actually had some skills. You were a skillful player, and you could fit within the concept of a championship team getting real minutes. Who do you see in the modern NBA out there that you think has an underrated kind of game, but is known, maybe not known for it, similar to you?
Well, I'm probably the wrong guy to ask because, as time goes by, I don't really pay attention to the NBA anymore. The league has changed so much. Everybody says that we were the golden age, and I agree with that one. But, the game is different. It's 1-on-1, 2-on-2. It's not so much of a 5-on-5 team basketball game, which I find kind of boring at times. So I pay attention to my sport, the WNBA, and keep on going.
LeBron versus MJ. We debate that often in sports. Where are you on the greatest of all time conversation?
I'm very vocal. I think LeBron is the best player that's ever played the game. He's 6'8", 285 pounds, runs like the wind, and jumps out of the gym. And more importantly, when he came in the league from day one, he knew how to involve his teammates to win. And that's something that Jordan had to learn for a long time. Now, if you go by championships, obviously Michael Jordan has more championships. But I think LeBron in any generation would be doing what he's doing right now all these years. And I think at the end of the day, I firmly believe that he's the best basketball player in the history of the game.
Even though I might disagree with that, I respect where you're coming from, Bill, because usually you and Isaiah are on the same page because the mentality was y'all were beating Jordan before no one else could. And so I give mad respect to the Detroit Pistons, and that's where I wanted to go with my next question. From an historical perspective, you guys went to 4 straight conference finals, won back-to-back titles. When we hear or speak about, yeah, you're right, 5, you're right, I'm sorry, 5. When you hear and you speak about the Chicago Bulls and other great teams, Isaiah has been on the record stating that he doesn't believe the bad boy Pistons get enough credit from an historical perspective in terms of what you guys did and what your impact was, not just on the Jordan era, but on the game overall. How do you feel about how the Detroit Pistons, the bad boy Pistons, have been perceived throughout the years?
Well, we won twice, and without getting hosed on a bad call against the Lakers in Game 6, we would have won 3 championships in a row. It happens. But I think, what we did was we changed the game of basketball for good or bad. A lot of the rules of illegal defenses were put in because of us. I think that, our physical play, we were able to perform at that level, other teams could not, and they took it over the edge, and it changed the way that was played. But we brought defense to the league. Everybody said that the Pistons were destroying the game of basketball because we played defense, and we made it hard to score. But that's how we had to win. And so if we change the game nobody remembers, we also had the highest scoring game in the history of the league in 186 and 184. So we had a lot of tools, we could do things, but I think defense injected into the game of NBA basketball was one of our lasting legacies.
Bill, you have 3 championships as a coach, so I understand the focus on the sport that you are coaching. But there is a lot of load management in the NBA and in modern sports now generally. You were a guy who, in spite of your physical play, was very durable. You had a consecutive games played streak at one point. What do you attribute to that? Is that a mind state? Is it just good luck? Is it genes? What do you attribute to that kind of durability?
Well, first, pat myself on the back a little bit. Without suspensions, I would have held the all-time record for most consecutive games played. Part of it is I didn't jump very high and put myself at risk like some of the other players did. I was very solid in the core, so you couldn't move me around or hit me and things like that would hurt me. But I think I played 35 minutes a game for 12 years in a row. I never got tired. You just go out there and you keep on playing. It's your job. I don't understand the load management today. It's just part. I understand it's part of the game. I get it, but I don't like it. I think that stars should play the most minutes and play every game. That's what they're paid to do. It's a fans' game, but it's a lot of it's big money now. It's just a lot of things to protect your assets both individually and collectively, and that's the way the game is managed now.
Bill, you're coaching in the WNBA right now, as you have for years. My question to you would be this: coming from the NBA culture, can you highlight how is it different? I mean, as a player, but now you're coaching young ladies. Talk to me about how your communication may change or what things you may need to do to communicate and coach young ladies compared to motivating teammates and men in the NBA.
Well, they're professional athletes. They're not men and they're not women. They're professional athletes. They are the highest level that they could possibly attain in basketball. People always ask me, what's the difference between men and women? And I say, well, the men obviously have more physical tools. They're able to make up for mistakes with an individual great play, where the women are 5-on-5.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.